Welcome to Dr. David Eifrig's Health and Wealth Bulletin. This is Weekly Update. This week we're doing an audio-only shoot as Winter Storm Toby has shut down our office and kept most of us off the roads. But that won't keep us from covering an important story. Today we're talking about online privacy, specifically on social media. According to Pew Research, 2/3 of Americans use social media, which includes popular websites like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. In fact, one of the demographics boasting the most growth online is the 65 and older group, and that's especially true for Facebook. Facebook in particular has come under some scrutiny lately due to a revelation that during the 2016 campaign, a data mining firm called Cambridge Analytica stole data from about 50 million Facebook users, and then they refused to delete the data. The problem here is that they accessed data from folks who agreed to give it up, but then they took it one step further and stole information from all of the friends of those people. The point is, nothing is safe online, including your privacy. So we wanted to touch on a few ways to make sure you're monitoring your online presence and keeping yourself safe. Now, our first tip is to make sure that you use safe and unhackable passwords. For all of your accounts, you want to make sure that your passwords are different. Don't use the same one for every single account you have online. Another good rule of thumb is to change them, sometimes as much as every 6 months. A good way to remember this is whenever we have daylight savings, change your clocks and change your passwords. Now, if you have trouble remembering your passwords, we do recommend a password manager like LastPass. We'll put a link to that in the description below. Another option you can take advantage of is something called two-factor authentication. This requires you to put in a password along with another piece of information. Often they'll send you a code to your email or to your mobile device that you then have to type in. This is really crucial, especially for important websites like your bank account or your credit card information. You want to make sure it's extra secure, so if that is an option offered, you want to go ahead and take advantage of it. Our second tip is to be very careful about who you follow and what you let them see. Now, this is a general rule on any kind of social media platform. Anytime you go to post something, make sure it's something you really want people to see and it doesn't give away any identifying information. For example, you never want to share your home address on any social media platform. That's because even if you restrict your profile to just your friends, you never know if those friends will be logged in somewhere where someone else can see that information. You also want to keep an eye on who you follow because there are false accounts out there. In fact, if you get a friend request from someone who you know is not on Facebook, you might want to call them and make sure that they did initiate that request. And if not, you'll have to report it to Facebook so that they know there is someone trying to steal their identity. This can lead to all kinds of problems, especially when they send suspicious links or anything else that can endanger you and your online privacy. So the key here is that if you see something suspicious, report it, and always be careful not to overshare on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of the social media platforms. Now, our third tip involves tagging and location services. Whenever you post something from your cell phone, the smartphone GPS will go ahead and tag your location. Now, this poses quite a problem for online privacy, but there are ways you can turn that location tagging off. It can get a little complicated, but you'll need to go to your settings folder on your phone and try to find location services. We're actually going to go ahead and post a link to a how-to guide that should walk you through it for both an Android or an iPhone. The other thing to keep in mind here is that you also can be tagged on Facebook, not only from yourself, but also from your friends if they want to tag you in an event or if you're with them at dinner. Maybe you don't want people to see that. There is an option on Facebook to go into your privacy settings and make sure that other people are not allowed to tag you. This gives you a lot of control over what you let people see and what you let them know about where you are and what you're doing. Now, our fourth tip goes along with one of our earlier tips about oversharing. The tip is very simple, and that's to post everything after the fact. Now, the reason for this, as we've written about before, is that burglars can actually target you based on your vacation photos. In fact, it might surprise you to know about 75% of burglars use social media in order to find potential targets. The reason for this is pretty simple. If your profile says that you live in Baltimore, for instance, but you're posting vacation photos in real time from Cancun, that means there's no one in your home, and burglars can go ahead and help themselves. That's why it's always a good rule of thumb to post all those vacation photos after you get home, and that way you can still share with your friends and family from the safety of your own house. Along with this, similarly, don't post any identifying information. Your profile might say that you live in Baltimore, but again, make sure that you don't have your home address or even your street name listed. Anything that makes it easy to find where you live is a good thing to leave off of social media networks. And finally, our last tip is one that's very simple to follow. If you see anything suspicious, don't click on it. Now, that includes emails you might get from a friend that has nothing in it except a link to click on. That's a sure sign that you're getting scammed, so don't click on it. Delete it and report it to your friend right away. Similarly, on social media, you don't want to click on anything where you don't know the source. There's all kinds of things on there to click to go to a news story or to take a quiz, but just keep yourself safe. If you don't trust the sender or the person sharing the information, certainly don't click on that link. It's really important to remember as well that when you take a quiz on Facebook, sometimes the questions are geared to get specific answers like your childhood pet name or the street you grew up on. The reason for that is because they might want those answers to security questions. Just do yourself a favor and don't answer them. It's always better to be safe than sorry and to keep thieves from getting that information from you. That's it for today. We hope these 5 tips will help keep you safe online. And if you have any other tips that you'd like to share with us, please keep them coming to our feedback line. We hope to see you in person next week. Until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for listening.